So today we will talk about something called Redux style backends. A little bit about myself. My name is Vladimir Novick. I'm developer advocate at Surah. I'm also a Go developer expert, author, part-time consultant, and on a daily basis I do a bunch of stuff in web, mobile, VR, AR, and IoT fields. Usually I like to say I need AI and blockchain to be on top of buzzwords, but still not there. So let's just get started. So let's talk about microservice architecture. Microservice architecture looks pretty much like this. We have an app, we have API layer, and we have a bunch of microservices such as payment, restaurant, delivery, and database. So I want to propose a different architecture and actually show you how you can do that in something called three-factor app architecture. Now, three-factor app architecture is kind of similar to Redux mind model, but for the whole architecture stack. So you have your app, you have real-time GraphQL API endpoint, which like the real-time is because of the subscriptions, and you have your state stored in database. Now you have some kind of eventing system that triggers your serverless functions, which are pure by default, and it means they will be sort of like your reducers that will update your state eventually, and because of subscription, everything will be propagated back to our front end or our mobile app. Now the question is how we can do that, and there are several solutions. One of them that I want to show you is Surah. It's an open source and free engine that gives you GraphQL API on top of your Postgres. It will generate GraphQL API out of your even existing Postgres, not only a new one. So the features that it has, it's not cloud agnostic, so it can basically run in any Docker container anywhere. And it's compatible with all auth solutions such as JWT or webhooks or others. I already mentioned it can run on top of new and existing Postgres. It also supports Postgres add-ons such as PostGIS and TimescaleDB. It will auto-generate your GraphQL API out of your database schema. And actually, you won't have N+1 problem common to GraphQL because it's basically a compiler that will compile your GraphQL query to one single SQL statement. So you won't need any projects such as data loader and so on. Now, it comes with CLI, so you can do migrations. You can do a bunch of things to run in CI. In fact, we streamed on Twitch last week how you can do so. You can write your own custom SQL. When you write SQL views, you will get auto-generated queries and subscriptions. When you write functions, you'll get auto-generated mutations. You have access control to data, and obviously you want to get your business logic somehow inside, so you can stitch it to a GraphQL schema from any GraphQL server, or create your small custom resolvers by providing a schema per resolver and stitching them into the engine. Now, it also has this eventing system that basically will enable you these like Redux style architecture. So it'll trigger events on database changes. And to get started, just a simple, to play around with it, you can just go to Hasura.io and click on Get Started with free tier, with Heroku free tier, deploy it on Heroku in something like 30 seconds. You can put a stopwatch and ask me if it takes longer. Usually it's less than 30 seconds. And when you click on View App in Heroku, you'll be presented with something like this, which I like to call graphical on steroids, because you have several things in addition to regular graphical web ID. So you have Explorer here on the left side, which is something that was developed by folks and at OneGraph, and basically gives you an ability to click on each of these things, and it will write GraphQL queries, mutations, subscriptions for you, and you will be able to execute them. You can add headers and basically copy your GraphQL API endpoint that will be generated. Now in Data tab, you will be able to add, view actually your database, such as like in pgadmin, but it will also give you an ability to set complex relationships between your remote schema and your generated API. Will also give you ability to do access control to really granular level, to like column level. Remote schemas is in an additional tab, which I already mentioned, and event triggers is in fourth tab. Now, to show you how it looks like, you basically can scan just this QR code, and I will log in. It's like a food ordering app. So let's enter this app. and I will place a new order. Now, just a second, yeah. Here I will have an analytics tab which is connected by using subscriptions to the backend. So I want to order donut, Huggies, and mango for some weird reason, and I will place this order. Now I will see my order is executed, and these are serverless functions that will run, and basically I will get here to, and here some of you are logging in. So if you click on payment, this will be restaurant approved and driver assignment, another serverless function that runs. So we're talking about async serverless here. Now, people usually ask, what about performance, right? So recently we did a really huge performance update. So right now we can support around 1 million concurrent subscriptions. And you can read more about that here with the whole explanation how the architecture will look like, what the benchmark is, benchmarks on CPU usage and scalability and stuff like that. So that's what I have to say. Try it out, and thanks.